I felt compelled to make a video talking about fear and uncertainty and anxiety. Not that I am a clinical psychologist, but I think that we're all going through just very different phases and different types and just different avenues of those few things. These are just very crazy and uncertain times, and I know from my end there are still days where even though things are starting to, I shouldn't say calm down, but there's I guess I'm getting better at dealing with all of the uncertainty. There's still days, and even yesterday was one of them, where I felt like the wheels were falling off, that things were going in a very bad direction. And 2 weeks ago also, I was feeling that way for like an entire week. I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating very well, I wasn't really exercising, and I was just so stressed out of everything that was happening. That was the week of, I believe, March 9th. And this was the week where I was deliberating over whether I would close up shop in my business or not like permanently, but closing it for the time being while we weather this storm that is the coronavirus. So that was a really stressful time, even just 2 weeks ago. Wasn't sleeping, and it wasn't until Friday, so like Monday was the 9th, so I think the 13th is a Friday, 13th or 14th, and something just hit me. It was like, hey, Nathan, you can keep on struggling with this. You can keep on just worrying about it and ruminating about it and thinking about it all day, or you can do something about it. You can take action, because ultimately my rumination and my anxiety and my fear of the uncertainty was preventing me from actually taking steps to help build new revenue streams for my business, to help me get back to exercising, to decrease my anxiety levels so that I could actually sleep, that I'm not waking up in a cold sweat. So there was a point, I don't know exactly what happened or how that came about, but I guess just a moment of clarity, and I latched onto it. But that's how I have been dealing with this, where I have recorded a couple podcasts, and several of my guests have shared similar sentiments where they were having a really hard time for a little while, deciding like, okay, what do I do? But then there was some, light bulb moment that came up, and they were able to say, oh, okay, well, this is reality right now. This is what's happening. It's bad, and it might get a little worse before it gets better, and I have to acknowledge that and accept it so that I can take the proper steps to not necessarily change that situation, but to change how I'm being affected by the situation. There's so many times prior to this event too in my life where I've had to accept. I've just had to accept the things that were happening, particularly when they were bad, right? Because this rumination on things, I've done it so many times before, it just does not help. And it's so difficult to get out of that. So if you're in there right now, if you're just ruminating on this coronavirus pandemic, and you're really, really worried about it, I totally get it. Like, I was there, I'm there every other day, it feels like. But know that the constant thinking about it and the rumination on it is not going to solve the problem, right? I believe, truly believe in taking action and having a purpose behind that action. So I would encourage you, whether you have a business, whether you were employed and now you're unemployed, whatever it might be, I encourage you to find things that you can do, whether it's learning a language, taking up yoga, getting a meditative practice, learning how to do different types of exercise, learning to cook, reading more, starting an online business, talking with your friends and family. Like, there's so many things that we can do to get us out of this ruminative behavior. I don't know if that's a word, but ultimately we got to get out of that. We have to, or else it just doesn't do us any good. I totally get it. I was there, I was feeling that way, but at the end of the day, we've got to learn or just begin to take action, and also just accepting what is happening. That doesn't mean that we can't fight for things to be done more efficiently. That doesn't mean that when things are going wrong that we just let it happen, but we have to know and pick our battles and choose what we can control and what we can't control. So that's my encouragement to you today. I was surprised that I was able to talk that whole time. So if you made it this far through the video, thank you so much. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and leave me a comment with what have you done to address some of this anxiety? What are some things or strategies that you're using to address anxiety? And also please hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube. And then also, if you're not on YouTube, then cool. This is probably somewhere else on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. So also leave me a comment, answer that question, and looking forward to discussion. I'm going to be making a lot more of these videos coming up because, one, I have time. Two, I'm surprised I haven't done this already because all of my friends and family say I talk a lot. So I'm just getting my words out and I'm all cooped up inside. So I've got a lot to say. I look forward to seeing you guys next time. And until then, stay classy.